This your boy L Boogie. Just wanted to let you know that here on Guilty by Association's podcast, we're shedding light on life experiences from our own guilty flaws, lessons learned, and still learning as men, and taking a positive outlook from negative circumstances. With a mix of tackling hot topics impacting us in our communities today, GBA is about making moves. So we'll be diving deep and shedding light on important social issues that keep you in motion. So come take a ride with us through this thing called life, with exciting discussions and interviews that will be brutally honest, but fun. But remember, as you enjoy, you'll be guilty by associations.
A good, loyal woman is one of the greatest things a man can have in his life, but it takes a real man to realize that. All right, what's going on, good peoples?
What's going on?
What's up, fellas?
I guess I can reintroduce all of my listeners. Welcome, all of our listeners. I'm Alexander.
I'm Big Mike.
I'm L Boogie.
Well, fellas, we got a special episode. We got from the hot topic one was our why women don't want a good man. Y'all remember that one? Pull this one out the vault.
ready to see what our listeners think of this one. It's enjoyable.
Yeah,
It's out of the norm. It was really good, though. I enjoyed it. I truly enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is one of the episodes for y'all that's listening. For all our listeners, this is an episode that we pulling out the vote here. This is what we consider our raw, uncut topic here, hot topic, discussion, and I hope y'all enjoy it. But what's some takeaways y'all got from? I know for me, one of the takeaways, I got two of them actually, but one I'll throw out there now was I like when we got into discussion about settling. I thought that was interesting when they gave their point of view about what do we define settling. So I thought that was actually dope from this episode.
I like the way the women were unbiased. Whether you're male or female, you can get the smoke. So from them, so I love that. And it brought a little bit of sexiness to the show.
True. They changed the topic before you know it wasn't about why women don't want a good man. It was about why a man don't want a good woman.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because my takeaway was we invite them on. They took over the show. But you know what? It was well worth it. I truly enjoyed it, and I hope our listeners will like it also.
Yes, listeners, if y'all want them back, just let us know.
And I got one more plug in there, for the wife. We got into a discussion about some women in our life that's inspirational, and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to plug my wife holding it down with the kids. So
you better do that.
Yeah, man, you don't want to be on the couch. You don't want to be on the couch.
All I can say is I got caught up with Big Mike. I couldn't keep up with Big Mike. You know what I'm saying? I tried to keep up with him on this episode.
It was a lot going on.
Now I'm thinking, man, I probably should have said that now because it could be, a lady I'm hollering at right now. She might be like, "Oh, you said that? Oh, okay."
Okay. Well, we don't want to tell too much more. We hope y'all enjoy this episode. Like always, we appreciate y'all taking the time out to listen to another episode. Always check us out. You can find us on Spotify. You can look for us on Anchor, also on YouTube at Guilty by Associations. So we appreciate y'all. We hope you enjoy the episode. Again, I'm Alexander.
I'm Big Mike.
I'm L Boogie.
We out. That's it. All right, we're back at it. What's going on, good peoples? What's happening?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on?
Hey.
All right.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
Y'all might be hearing some different voices in the background, but just go ahead and reintroduce myself again. I'm Alexander.
I'm Big Mike.
I'm L Boogie.
All right. Well, look, today's episode, fellas, we're gonna do why women don't want a good man. I know this is gonna be, but go ahead and make it clear now.
Woo!
This is just a conversation, But what y'all think about that topic, fellas? What you think?
I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
All right. Well, I think to help us drive this home,
You
though,
sure you're ready, Mike?
we got some special guests here. We got some special guests in the building. We got K Dub.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
And, we got Miss Lady B.
Yeah. Let's do this.
We're gonna try to see if we can get a female perspective on this topic here. Why women don't want a good man? Wow, that's crucial. Mike, what you say about that? What's your thoughts on that, man?
Oh, I get it. Why don't women want a good man? I want to get the ladies' perspective. What is a good man? Me personally, I feel they're just not attracted to him for some reason. I feel they're just not attracted to him. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Now, why they like the thug type, I don't know. I don't know why. It seems, all I know is I see a lot of so-called bad men. They get away with murder. That woman will not leave him for nothing. But that good dude,
right?
He just got an inch. That's it.
Right.
She just gonna give him an inch. That's my.
Well, I see the ladies. I see the ladies' head shaking, making fringing. I know y'all can't see what we could see, but I guess to really get things, get things started here, I use a little inspiration from preparing for this episode, listening to some other podcasts, and there was actually a gentleman who podcasts on Apple Podcasts named his title of it is "Good Men Exist," and he actually asked like 4 to 5 good questions that he want to ask his listeners. So I figured we'll have some fun with it in here as well. So I know the ladies had a little bit of homework. We've been looking at some of these questions, so we'll figure we'll ask these questions and get your perspectives on things, right? El, you got anything before we go into? I see your eyes looking like you may want to say something.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that with our lovely guest here today, from the question we're asking you, not necessarily means that we feel as though women don't want a good man, but we want to know, do you think women don't want a good man? That's the question we want to ask you guys. So we don't want you to think that we don't want y'all to think that we're, of the three of us, we're kind of nitpicking or pointing the finger, but just conversation, just to just open up for discussion. Now, if it gets heated, it gets heated. Somebody might reveal themselves tonight. So we'll look forward to seeing, how everybody feels about this topic.
Somebody might get revealed.
Oh,
Hey.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh.
There it is.
Close.
There it is.
All right. So diving in to these 4 questions this gentleman asked, and again, I'll tell you, definitely check them out. Good Men Exist, to give them a shout out. So the first question was that most men like to ask is, question for the ladies, do you believe there are more available good women versus good men?
You want me to go ahead and kick this off, Lady B?
Absolutely, my girl. Just
okay. Well, I know you're taught not to answer a question with a question, but just starting off, I want us to get on the same page as to what are we meaning when we say a good man and a good woman. Because a good man, the definition of a good man means different things to different people. Are we talking about good job, making money, his own place, financially stable? What do we mean when we say a good man and a good woman? Me personally, when I think of a good man, I'm thinking of a man that is kind, a man that is secure in himself, of course, financially stable. I'm not trying to co-sign nothing for nobody.
Look at Mike.
A man that knows God. I'm not saying he has to go to church every Sunday, but he at least knows what a Bible is and can refer to it in need.
Yes.
So that's what I say. Well, that's what I think of when I think of a good man, and the same for a good woman. Now the question was, do we think that women, or are there more good men than good women? Well, if you're just going off of census data, there's more women in our population than men, period. Now, so just by numbers, there's going to be less men available in the pool just because there's more women in our population. Now, if you drill down to just the men that we consider are good men out of that population pool, I would say the answer to your question is no. There's definitely a lot less good men than there are good women. Good women are everywhere. We're all over. We've taken over. We're holding it down. We're in the mall. We're in the grocery store. We're in the boardroom. We're everywhere. There's no shortage of a good woman.
I agree on that.
Okay.
I agree on that.
That's where I'm at with that question.
Well, I'm gonna come back to that. You got anything? I'm gonna come back to that.
Well, you know what? I want to actually hear another man's perspective from her comments before I make my comments. How about that?
Anybody want to jump on it?
I'll jump in on that.
I will.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that. So Alexander, ask that question again.
Well, Mike
Ask that
was
question
Mike was
again,
to say so. So, Mike, but the question was, do you believe there are more available good women versus good men?
Let me respond to KW stuff.
Okay.
I agree with you. You know, that probably is a good man. But you know what? He died on the cross. That's the man you speaking of. Ain't nobody all that perfect. I'm sorry. And faithful too. And faithful too.
Negative.
No,
Go
I'm
ahead
just
on.
saying. He's supposed to be fine too, ain't he?
Not necessarily.
And you see,
I'm gonna come to that. We all gonna come to that.
That's exactly my point right there. And I'm glad you said that. But go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and let you finish.
But
yeah, that's another whole different beast.
I do believe there are a lot. I honestly, but all jokes aside, I do believe they are more good women than men, and not because you know, the population is more women, but I'm about to have some fellas mad at me, but I just got to keep it 100. I want to be fair and I want to keep it 100. There's not too many faithful men. I know very few faithful men. So, but I can think of a lot of faithful women, you know, that ain't been caught though.
That we know of.
That ain't been caught, but.
If I could just butt in on that faithful thing. Faithfulness is not necessarily a criteria in women. I don't want y'all to get on me, but everybody, I feel like we're all human. Everybody makes mistakes, and you have good men and good women who have made a mistake. So being faithful is not necessarily, in my book, a deal breaker. It's the intention and your spirit behind your unfaithfulness that's the deal breaker.
It is a deal breaker for me because it takes
hold on.
For it to go down, because a conversation got to go down. You got to be alone. Some clothes got to be unbuttoned. You have plenty of time to say no if we're talking about unfaithfulness sexually wise.
Okay,
well, that's a whole nother part.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I made sure. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
El, it's your turn, brother.
Well, no. Let's get Lady B's opinion, because she don't pass it to Mike.
Yeah.
So Lady B, let's get your answer on that.
And see, my whole thing is you're talking about emotional versus physical. You know how they always say a man is more physical and we are more emotional as women. And you know, there's a thin line between that love and hate, the whole thing. Depending on what that woman has been through already, what she's looking for. Like you said, looking at the physical attributes, how fine he is and all that other stuff, that's a whole different podcast.
Mhm.
It depends on the level of maturity and where you're at in your life. You know,
Amen.
where I'm at,
Amen.
the physical attributes come in on a whole different realm. So, somebody's like, oh, you probably want him to be fine. Fine ain't got a damn thing to do with it, okay? Because now when I was in my 20s and 30s,
Exactly.
oh, okay, it's that
Yeah.
physical attraction. Now I'm looking for that conversation.
Right.
Can you entertain my thoughts? Because if you're too young or too immature to entertain my thoughts, I can't even deal with you. So as far as going back to the question, do you believe there are more good women or men? Believe it or not, I'm actually kind of right there on that mediocre side because, every day you live, you meet different people if you choose to meet different people. And I find out there's still some good men out there, a lot of good men. However, what they desire and what their situation is a whole different beast. So that's a whole nother podcast. So I'm gonna leave that alone.
Right.
But women wise, we're trained to be lovers. We're trained to be emotional and fall in love. You guys, that's that physical attraction. You see, oh, is she built like a brick house? What can she offer you? Can she satisfy you? Blah, 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 blah. Then on the back end, you'll be like, okay, can she be that wife I want her to be? Because I want her to be that freak in the bedroom.
Right.
But then I want her to be that church girl, button up girl on the front end. So that's where we're at on that.
Well, I mean, it's funny. It's because y'all touched on a lot of good points too. Because one thing I again doing some researching and podcasting, and listening to other ones and stuff like that. I see the toast up this Lady B toasting it up, toasting it up. But I know one thing they talk about when it comes to relationship to keep in mind that I know I was listening to one young lady. Matter of fact, her name was Miss Erica Vegas or Vargas, Erica Vargas, and she has a podcast talking about how to find a good man and what to look for. She's a motivational speaker as well as a life coach or what have you. But she had pointed out how there's 3 levels basically when it comes to relationship. Is the first level obviously is appearance, then you have your second one which is emotional, and then your third is integrity, right? So I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's where all 3. I think regardless man or woman, we look for those 3 things, right? Thoughts on that? Y'all agree?
I think, and I think depending on, like Lady B was saying, where we are in our lives, in our maturity level, those 3 levels may be in different orders at different times.
Exactly.
Like for me, appearance is at the bottom. Integrity is at the top. Because, I'm going to keep it real. Yeah, I was into what you look like and how fine you are. And you got to be at least 5 inches taller than me, and all of that. But right now, I'm more concerned with who's going to wipe my butt when I get old and I can't do it myself.
Right.
I want to make sure that I'm with somebody who's not going to put me in a nursing home and put me in a wheelchair and have me facing the wall in a pissy diaper. That's what I'm worried about.
Look, I was just watching that. It's funny you said that. I was just watching the episode with the Bernie Mac when he was talking about his fantasy was to marry Holly Berry, and he got on the radio running his mouth talking about I'll just leave in the casket and forget all about it and bring Holly Berry to the casket, and they both looking over her to my I don't know why you was with her in the first place. She was having nightmares. So I feel that's real.
So integrity is up there at the very top. Yeah, it would be nice if I could look at you with the lights on, but that's not necessarily, a deal breaker. You don't have to be Denzel or Michael B. Jordan. As long as you are beautiful to me on the inside, that's where I'm at in my life. And like you said, those levels come in different orders at different times in your life. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know what?
My girl. Yes.
Let me jump in real quick. So what's interesting about this show topic tonight is because of the fact that the way that K-Dub and Lady B are feeling is not necessarily the consensus of everybody we run into. So the normal consensus is and y'all could probably nod or shake your head to it. The normal consensus is some of the attributes that Big Mike talked about. Does he have this? Does he have that? Does he have how tall is he? Where does he live? How much money? What car he drive? Now, this is not you guys, or you ladies, I should say, but the general consensus. Let's say a bunch of guys talking, and that's what we run into. That's what we run into. Now, is it right? Well, like you both said, depending on where you are in your life. Depending on where you are in your life, that's what kind of answer is going to come out your mouth. And it's great to see that the group that we have here, we're on a different page. We're on the same page, but on a different page than what's the norm. Do you agree with that?
Okay. So can I respond to that? Can I respond to that?
Yes.
So
yes.
It's interesting. Okay, so you said you and your bro love group.
Now also remember, I do have 3 more questions. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay, I'm sorry. You and your groups, y'all guys, y'all have your groups and you caucus and fellowship amongst yourself the same way us girls do. And you say, look, I work, I bring home the check, I pay bills. I'm a provider. I don't have 6 baby mamas. And it's just like I can't find a good woman. Every time I get a woman, she's doing this or she's doing that. And it's just like they don't want a good man. Okay, that's the story that you all hear amongst yourself, amongst your peers. However, speaking for the general population, as you said, Elle, and speaking from the experiences of a woman who have come up against plenty of these so-called good men. A lot of these good men are good on the surface, but they have a lot of invisible, naked to the plain eye, dog whistle under the surface issues that you all wouldn't see.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all wouldn't see because you're not in the situation where you would ever see it. However, us women, we see those flaws. And so it may look like from the outside that we don't want a good man, but we have had the opportunity to see what this good man is really about. And it ain't so damn good all the time.
So that goes that will go into the next question where it said, do you feel you have ever settled for a relationship or for a man?
Yes. Guilty.
Wow, you said that quick.
As charged.
Guilty.
Said that
as charged.
So
I would say one thing though. I know I heard.
Lady B, you want this one because
I'll go ahead on with. Why would I settle? First and foremost, first of all, let me tell you guys, giving honor to God, who's head of my life. Hey, settling is not the thing we choose to do. Sometimes it comes out of a situation because you done dealt with a whole bunch of foolishness. You done dealt with a whole lot of drama or whatever the case may be. And you say, well, you know what? Maybe it's too much. I'm thinking it's too much about me. Let me make it about them. Or maybe let me come into that sweet median and maybe this is what I need to do. And so that's what you end up doing. You end up settling. It doesn't work. It doesn't work settling.
Now that question actually has 2 parts to it. But go ahead.
Okay, give me that second part because
the second part would be
the settling doesn't work.
Okay. But you have. Too bad people can't see. Too bad the listeners can't see the facial expression right now from the ladies. So if you did settle, do you believe that has led you to believe that that's why there's no or less good men available?
No. I'll say when I settled, I knew perfectly well what I was doing.
Okay.
I knew what I was doing.
And I must agree with her on that. We know what we're doing when settling because we already agreed to something that we normally would not agree to.
Yeah.
And when I say I got a question for you on the back end, you go ahead on, honey, handle this. Because I got a question for you on the back end.
Yeah, I knew perfectly well what I was doing. And I talked myself into it. I justified it. I said, okay, this is what we're going to do with this. He might not be all of what I want, but he's He's most of what I want. So I'm gonna go ahead on and just chill with this for a minute because I've been out here. I done co-signed apartments, cars. I got my credit bad messing around with these dudes.
Well, where them
I done
women
been in fights with baby mamas, you know, and these are the good men. Now, these are the good men. These aren't the men that's coming in the door raggedy. They coming in the door smelling like Issey Miyake. Hold up. But once you spend some time and get to know what that real situation is, that thing turns real funky real quick. And you get tired of that. You get tired of thinking you finally found the one. We run into these guys and we think, yes, he's the one. He checked off all the boxes, and then next thing you know, something just blew up the whole spot. And it happens over and over and over. And so now we to the point where, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of kissing all these frogs. My lips tired. My Mac is wore out. I'm tired. So I'm going to go ahead on and settle for this one because for the most part, he not beating my ass. He don't got a whole bunch of kids. He got some kids, but, you know, he got a job. It's not a 6-figure, 7-figure Wall Street or whatever job, but it's a job. So I'm going to go ahead on and just settle with this one because for the most part, he's all right. And we know in the back of our mind, this is not the dude we really want. This is not the dude that we want to be wiping our butt and pushing us around in a wheelchair.
So would you say that
but
guy?
We go ahead and settle for it.
So you say that guy? Would you say that guy basically is not Mr. Right, but Mr. Right now?
Is that well? Okay, so when I was out there in these streets, Mr. Right Now was actually like a couple of hours. So I wouldn't even put this man in Mr. Right Now because Mr. Right Now was we're gonna leave this club and then tomorrow morning we're gonna hit Waffle House and then we're gonna go up to do. So that was Mr. Right Now for me. But for the purpose, for the sake of argument, yeah, we'll say he's not Mr. Right, but he's Mr. Right Now. But my own personal Mr. Right Now was, you know.
Right, man. I mean, this is confirmation for me. So I'm glad y'all sharing. I'm glad we get an opportunity to hear the ladies' perspectives on these because this is something we talk about. Like you think in your mind, like I think this is it. So y'all confirming some stuff for me. At least for me, at least I don't know. Big Mike, you might be quiet over there. What's going on, brother?
Hey, I'm letting y'all roll, man. I'm waiting for the. I mean, I think you're playing with fire though when you know deep down inside that's not the one for you. Somebody's gonna end up. You're gonna end up hurting somebody. I mean. Or you're gonna end up making. You're gonna think you're right, but you're gonna end up having one petty thing blow up into something big.
And that's what happens.
And me personally, I keep hearing. I've heard it tonight that you know the looks ain't all that, but I've tried, man. I tried to date somebody I wasn't all.
Because we settled, men settled too.
I love them for everything else, but the attractiveness and Keith, you probably know who I'm talking about if you think real good. And I didn't want to lose their friendship. Thank God we're still friends to this day. I tried. I'm sorry. The audience that's listening, you go with what you're attracted to. I'm so sorry. You're playing with fire. That's why people cheat.
I'm disappointed right now.
Unhappy. It's just the truth. I don't care.
I'm hurt. That crushed my spirit.
Go with somebody who you are attracted to, because
all right.
I mean,
Lady B, what's up, Lady B? She got a hand up. Go ahead, Lady B.
I mean, don't get me wrong, K-Dub. Don't get me wrong. I think that's a beautiful thing to say. That's a beautiful. Thing to say. It sounds nice that you don't care about the looks, but you tell that to your man and watch you be like,
okay. I appreciate your honesty,
you're
brother.
Gonna crush his spirit. You trying to crush spirits around here. So.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, that's something.
Lady B,
looking like Sinead.
Lady B.
The public service announcement. If you look like Shanae, don't roll up on Big Mike, because honey, he is gonna turn you around.
Nah. She might have a body though.
He gonna turn you around.
Might have to, no.
So Lady B,
Big Mike.
what we got?
Mike,
What we got, Lady B? Big Mike off the chain today. He's off the chain today. He said it was one of those days today. So Big Mike getting it in.
You know what? I give Big Mike all the praise. Here you go. Boom, 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 boom. Some men, they are hung up on that physical attraction, and and give it. My thing is, at the end of the day, I got to be able to look at you.
Yeah.
Now, if I can't look at you, there is a problem.
Yeah.
So I understand totally where he's coming
I
from.
ain't saying
Because
she got to be
even
Holly Berry, but
right. My whole thing, and Holly Berry, I've seen her in person. I've seen Holly in person. She ain't all that neither, but it it is what it is. However, with all what we're saying and relationships and men, wanting a good woman and all this, that, let me give you all this question, because this is what has confronted me. My thing is, why does a good man or a married man want a good woman?
Well, you know what?
On the side.
Well, hold that.
And we know that's a whole. Great. That's a whole. Granted, my thing, I know that's a whole different podcast, you guys. I understand that, but when I tell you,
well, because you know what? That's another thing too, and that goes back to those same original questions about what makes a good man, right? Because a good man necessarily doesn't mean because they married, or you also hear just being real, or they gay, that's a good man. That doesn't make because they gay or married make them a good man.
It doesn't make them a good man. But however,
but that has a tendency to be what you hear is like a good man is either going to be married or he's going to be gay. It ain't what I hear. It's what I know. It's what I know. But because they married or maybe gay doesn't necessarily make them a good man.
It doesn't make them a good man. But it's my thing is they may be married and they're going through trials and tribulations. That's what we're gonna call it. They got stipulations on this good single woman. Hello.
I heard a woman tell.
How you gonna put a stipulation on me? I don't have no
You're not attached. You don't have to answer
attachment.
I'm divorced. I've been married. I've been divorced. Okay, how many times do you want to? Okay, we're gonna go through that. Okay, we ain't gonna talk about it. Okay. So my thing is I have no attachments. But here you are, you're gonna put demands on me. But and then you feel like you have that right to put demands on me. First of all, for giving honor to God, who's head of my life. You can't put limitations on me, baby. You can't. But you want what you want. And that's what I don't understand. And my thing is, the funny thing is, you got good men out there that are in situations because they don't know how to release themselves. And I'm not going to be that one to tell you how to release yourself. If you're ready to walk away from that situation, you walk away. If you need guidance, that's what a lawyer is. Yeah. If you need a lawyer, get a good lawyer that can represent you. I don't want to be the one that you base your feelings and emotions off of to release yourself because you're not in a good situation. That's
that's something my wife told me actually when we was dating and we was going to the next level. She was like, she's still married, because I was still, we were separated for like 2-3 years at this point. I was just being lazy, not wrapping things up like supposed to.
And not handling your business.
And then she said, hey, you need to wrap that up before we have any discussions on going to the next level. I don't
God bless her.
I don't want to know how you did it.
God bless her.
I don't want to know how.
Shout out to Mrs. Alexander.
What you got to do, just get back to me when it's complete. And
that's right.
Hello.
And that was real. And that was real. I could do nothing but respect that. But then also too, I was at a certain point in my life too when I was ready to settle down and so forth. So
and Mr. Alexander, let me explain something to you. I can't tell you as a man when you're ready to do that. My thing is, you could be ready, but what I found out, some good men, let me give you that example. They are good men. They don't know how to handle that because why? They've been in that situation for so long. And they're the type, they know how to take care of their family. They know how to take care of the wife, the kids. They're such that responsible type of man. They don't know how to they want to put closure, but they don't know how to put closure. And I'm not going to be that female that tells you how to do that, because my thing is, at the end of the day, you might want that chick back. You might want your wife back.
Exactly.
You want might to keep that going on. You show me that you don't, but you're not showing me enough. So
Yeah.
let me step back from that.
You can have good men are in these jacked up situations every day. And you know,
All day, every day.
you had these diamonds in the rough walking around all day long. A good man, good heart, you know, good everything, but they're just in a jacked up situation, in a separation that's been going on, hanging around for years and years and years. Nobody wants to go to the courthouse. Nobody wants to sign the papers. Nobody wants to handle that business because you know it's hard, and I get it. I get it. You know, I got a couple of marriages under my belt too, so I get it. And I will say, my current husband is a good man. However, he came and his situation was not airtight. And I did very similar to what Mrs. Alexander did. Look, we know we want to be together. We know we're going to try to do this thing and do it the right way. So let's go ahead and give ourselves time to go and handle our business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and I mean, go handle your business without having to worry about trying to maintain the relationship with me.
Right. That's exactly.
I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. Don't worry about that. But go handle that business and tie up those loose ends, and then I'm going to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's
truth
right.
be told, I had a stable of my own at the time, so I had to go let some men down gently.
Hey.
Yeah.
Tell it.
So I had business. I had to tend to. Yeah, I had a thoroughbreds, stallions. Yeah.
Boy, they dirty, boy. See how they cut Mike? They go right back what Big Mike was saying. See how they do? See how they do?
I don't have a problem with it because I don't got a problem with it because you need to date multiple people to really see what you really want.
Yeah.
I'm never. Hey,
When I was single, I was single.
Unless we're official, you date who you want. Because I want to be chosen, not settled for. So
exactly. And that's what I said. Let's go handle our business. So when we come together, there are no loose ends. There's nobody. You can say, yeah, I don't have a girl, I don't have a man. But is there anybody out there who thinks they're your girl or who thinks they're your man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You cannot claim it, but you have anybody that's claiming you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's handle all of this, and then when we find these good men, we can put 100% into the relationship without trying to fight off the miscellaneous, the leftover, the residual that we didn't handle. And that's what gets in the way sometimes with these good men and these good women.
I want to add on to this. I want to add on to this because y'all brought up a great subject. You got a lot of people in situations. They don't know how to cut their losses, you know.
Yes.
They don't know how to cut their losses. You can't, you know, sometimes that relationship is just dead. That marriage is just dead.
Right.
Yes.
And people you got businesses tied up.
Right.
I mean, you're afraid to get out there again. And I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard.
It could be a scary situation if, you know, somebody's been married for 10, 15 years, especially if you're older. It's probably much.
How about
almost 30 and kids? Yes.
You know, I'm here to tell our audience, you know, life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for me to say it, but life does go on. So,
El Boog is I see you see your wheels turning.
I'm ready for him. Go ahead, brother.
It's just I agree with a lot of.
It's interesting. It's interesting how the show. It's interesting how the show turned into. It's like to me, we don't flip the show to why women don't want a good man, but why women and men don't want a good man or woman. It sounds like we got to retitle this episode.
Right. The dynamic, the dynamic has changed. It's on flip mode. But what I wanted to say was I was going to jump in on the tail end what was K-Dub was saying about cutting your loose ends and things of that nature. I was just going to say, like, for example, a filter. If you can't walk hand in hand with your man through any public Walmart without getting jumped because some other side chick going to pop up, he hasn't claimed you officially, he's not the one or she's not the one.
Raggedy.
Right. So The thing I
Right.
like about the group we got here, we
That's what I
all
mean.
grown professionals, for one. We all grown professionals, so our mindset is different than the norm. So we are past a certain age bracket, whereas physical is important. I am not going to lie about it. Physical is important, but the whole package, the peace of mind, that's what I'm looking for. I think we all looking for that. Anybody in their right
Yeah.
mind wants the whole package.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. And I love the fact that what we were saying earlier, how when we were 20 and 30, we was all acting a fool, all of us acting a fool, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people we
Absolutely.
hung around
Absolutely.
was acting a fool. But as we got a little older, as we got some life experiences, we got some children, and we get tired of the BS. This is where we're at right now. So we're having a conversation. I love this conversation right now. I like the fact that we can give it to the ladies and let them run with it, because it's just great to hear the perspective of another young lady, rather than us having the conversation ourselves and y'all at home as listeners saying, "Oh, I wish I was there. I had something to say." So you guys, I applaud y'all for speaking for the women out there. We want to get more women listeners. We want y'all to tell a friend to tell a friend. And we want y'all to know that Big Mike likes all the attractive women. I like the whole package. and tell that man and act like you guys consent. Yes,
But I remember. It's funny because I remember one time I remember before I got married. It was a matter of fact when I was dating, there was a young lady told me straight up. She was like, when we talking about getting into, it's back in the beginning days of the whole online dating and all that. And I remember her telling me like, we got to talk about, looks and looking, all that stuff. I'm talking about back in the dial-up days where, the internet took for a while. You didn't have the webcams on your computer that. And
I'm dead.
back when you knew, look, back you knew when they was you knew they was a dud when they wore their when the picture they show you, the picture of their graduation with the diploma, like, oh yeah, she's busted. I gotta go ahead and tell you that, right? The early catfish days.
Catfish 1991 style.
And so I remember this chick told me one time, she was like, we got to talk about size and weight. And her question was, is your weight, what she said, is it gym? What she said something like, is your weight gym weight, meaning that you can go work out and get that weight off you versus are you obese? And I just thought that was real though, because it put things in perspective where, when you are, because like you said, as we getting older, things are not in the shape it used to be, things of that nature. So I thought from a male perspective that I thought that was a easy way of saying, yeah, I could work with you. That's like settling, I guess. And I guess you
you pay like you weigh?
Do you pay? Oh, that's the other one. You pay like. But I just thought that was smooth when she said it like that though, because there's a difference between gym weight and obesity. So
if you pay like you weigh, then you can stay, baby.
You can stay, baby.
Yeah, but you know what? Like you said, why doesn't a man want a good woman? It's so many different levels to that, man.
Yeah.
It's so many different levels, and yes, we're trying to stay on topic, but that's why we kind of veer to the left a little bit, because usually there are good men out there, but they got situations, and I say it's men that with situations. It's more men with situations to me than it is women. Usually it's a married man that's got an unresolved situation, and he's like, torn between, not even torn. He needs to just settle it, like Mr. Alexander said. Handle your business. And the thing is, they're looking for advice, or how do I settle it? I know a friend of mine who's in a situation. They were married straight out of high school. They're in their mid-50s now, and him and the wife have not been together for some years, with a Z. So my whole thing is, at the end of the day, I can't tell you what you need to do with that, man. We're friends. I'm like, I can't tell you what to do with that. My thing
I think that's a topic all by itself. 'Cause I think that's a discussion about why men can't let go. I think that could be
but
go ahead.
I somewhat disagree with Lady B though, because I think it's about even. Y'all might run into men in situations maybe on paper, but I run into good women in situations who's mentally
Oh,
still
see, now
stuck
that's a
with
whole
somebody
different
and
beast.
still, you know, have
Big Mike,
somewhat of a
you know
soul
what?
tie
Now
with a
that's,
guy and
Yeah,
don't
I'm
still,
ever
not gonna
break
lie to
free.
you.
right,
You're
right.
right. You're right. Yeah, I
You're
mean, my
right.
thing is, at the end of the day,
You're right about
that
that.
mental is a whole different beast. And there's a bunch of crazy folks out there. You got folks, when I say crazy, and y'all don't take it the wrong way, don't even try to find out who Lady B is, because she's saying, oh, she calling me crazy. Nigga, you crazy. Okay, sorry. The thing is,
Oh, go ahead.
you don't realize, when you're ADHD and all these other quote
Yes,
unquote
Mm-hmm.
yes.
official titles that they give
Mm-hmm.
you, you're not balanced out, because the thing is, you're all over the place. You're in one position, then you're in another position. And not saying you're a bad female or you're a bad male, but the thing is, you can't stop and focus. You got to
Right.
be able to focus on what's
Yes.
really going on,
Yes.
and so many things take take your attention and take you and get you distracted. And I've run into so many people that are like that, and I'm not gonna lie, most of the people that I run into situations that are like that are women.
Yeah.
And it may be the fact that we have so much on our plate. You're trying to
Yeah.
be that mother, you're trying to be that advisor, you're trying to be that teacher, you're trying to be that guidance counselor, then you're trying to be that wife, you're trying to be that sister, you're trying to be so many different things to so many different people. And people have put you on this pedestal because as a woman they feel like
Mm-hmm.
you should be able to handle it, because for whatever reason, I don't know why society feel like as a woman we should be able to handle everything that comes our way. We're overwhelmed. Hell,
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. It's so funny when my clients, my former clients, or my current clients tell me, sister, you know what, you're ADHD, baby. I said, what? Excuse me? What you mean I'm ADHD? You're all over the place. You got so much going on. But the thing is, I ain't told nobody's business. I ain't this, I ain't that. But the thing is, my focus, because you got so many situations going on. The ex-husband or the ex-boyfriend or the ex-mama or the ex, whatever it may be. You guys, it's a lot. It's a lot's going on out there. And my thing is, at the end of the day, we can't assume.
So going back to that original
And
question
that's real
about
talk.
that is real. So like going back to
That's real talk.
that original question then about do we believe there's more good women versus good men, and do you think something that like Big Mike touched on we just said with the women with mental issues. Okay, well, what big thing with I noticed when I was single that women used to carry load or baggage from a previous relationship
Mm-hmm.
versus I think men do a better job at decluttering some stuff versus I think women carry some stuff, which is I understand women are built emotionally, so I get it. So with that being said, do you think that balances out where you have, as Big Mike saying, you got a lot of women out here that's carrying a lot of mental issues
I
versus
would just go ahead and say yes.
so that balances it out where again going to that good men, good women, which one's really more? Is it equal?
So I'll just
Y'all
say,
get what I'm trying to say? Y'all get what I'm
I
trying to
do.
go with that?
I totally get what you're trying to say. So going back to the question, why women don't want a good man. Okay, so a lot of times, and the unfortunate reality for a lot of us women is we weren't socialized and we weren't raised in environments where we got to witness healthy relationships. And so we don't know. A lot of us
You know what?
don't know when we come up on that good man. A lot of us don't know how to maintain and navigate a healthy relationship
I'm
in
glad you
order
said that.
to keep that good man.
Thank you for
Because
saying
we're
that.
carrying around trauma. We've been abused. We've seen abuse. We carry around unresolved trauma, and not just women, men too. We all carry around unresolved trauma. And so when we come up on these good men and good women, sometimes we don't even have the tools to maintain that relationship in a healthy manner because we just weren't taught it and we weren't exposed to it.
Yes.
And we weren't brought up in those environments. We were brought up in these dysfunctional environments. And that's what we know. And unconsciously, just because of human nature, we always veer back to what's comfortable for us and what's familiar. We're always going to go to what's familiar. And a lot of time, dysfunction is what's comfortable and what's familiar. That normalcy is sometimes disguised as being boring. Like this nice guy's too boring. No, this nice guy just don't got a lot of drama with him because you so used to all the rah-rah all the time. When you come up on something that's normal and functional, it doesn't float your boat. It doesn't make you, it doesn't make your heart beat fast. It doesn't give you that rush that you're looking for because you're so used to that drama, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm glad you said. I'm glad you said. Yeah, definitely. Because I was actually I was actually told that in a relationship. I was told in a relationship that, you know, it was, matter of fact, I was married before, so it was a previous marriage, and she had told me we had a good moment, good space. We was able to have some dialogue, and it came up, and she literally told me like, yeah, you know, maybe some of us don't know how to handle a good relationship. I felt some kind of way about that though.
And that's facts.
Why you feel some kind of way?
That's facts.
Alexander, why you feel some kind of way?
I felt some kind of way because I tell y'all what I told her. I said, well, okay, I get it. Okay, you say, you know, maybe you're not used to that. All right. I said, well, let's use the analogy of a restaurant. And say you got two restaurants right across the street from each other. One restaurant you go to, you used to them always just spitting in your food, giving you horrible service, you know, turn your plate over, mush you in the face, like hell book, mush you in the face, you know, treat you any old kind of way, right? But then you have a restaurant across the street from there that cooks the meal like you want, you know, treat you how you want to be treated, treat you probably even better than you were treated before. And matter of fact, the meal may even be a little less than what was over at the other place, right? And you had a choice to go back to either one of these restaurants. You're going to tell me you're going to go to the restaurant that treats you like trash and treat you like shit. You're going to go to that one because that's what you're used to versus the restaurant across the street is going to treat you like you're supposed to.
You know, the unfortunate thing, what you just said.
That's how I looked at it.
And that's an excellent. When I say excellent, it's excellent example. That's what some men are used to.
And I know, and I know, and want to make sure
I promise you.
I want to make just know when I made that comment that I do respect that mental health, as we know, we did a previous episode about it. That I know it can have a lot of. I take mental health serious, but I'm just sharing that particular scenario. But I do understand and recognize that I know mental health. I know this falls under mental health when they're used to dysfunction. That I do respect that, so I'm not discrediting any kind of mental health.
I mean, and it goes both ways, Mr. Alexander. It's what they're used to. That's the sad thing. And, you know, I've met men, you know, besides the fact hearing women vent, but met men that have been used to women treating them a certain way. And that's what they have been attracted to, apparently. And then when they meet that woman that's out of the norm, that's willing to, you know, be that nice comforter, be able to give them what they're desiring, and then even offering more than what they're asking for. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to. They're like, wait a minute, is this right?
Mm-hmm. and the thing about it is, we have to also be the people that we want, and sometimes we don't want to have to hold ourselves to a standard in order to maintain this good relationship, this good man or this good woman, because you can't come through the door raggedy. You got this person bringing A, B, C, and D to the table, treating you, doing everything that you said you wanted, being everything you said you wanted, handling business, doing all of that, A through Z. You can't come through the door raggedy. You got to hold yourself to a standard also. And sometimes we don't want to hold ourselves to a standard. We're comfortable with that raggediness, with that ratchetness, with that, you know, we don't want to have to step our games up.
And the thing is, we're not asking to be, we're not settling by no means. And we as women, you know, we're not settling, but at the same token, we're not trying to feel like, okay, we're trying to bombard you and take away your manhood. Because, you know, all a man has is his self-esteem. If we tear that down, what does he have left? Nothing.
I do want to say to the men though, your personality niceness ain't enough. You know, you got to be a provider. You got to be a protector. I mean, you got to be strong spiritually. You got to be able to make decisions. You know, sometimes, I mean, you might have. I mean, that lady wants to. I ain't saying be Ike Turner, but she wants you to show a little bit of leadership. You know,
what we don't want is a wussy.
Yes, she wants somebody that if times is rough, she can look in his eyes and she could. And he says,
because we don't
"Baby,
ask
I
for a
got
lot.
it.
That's it. We don't ask for. Let me break it all the way down. If you want me to break it down,
men don't ask a whole lot either. Men don't.
we
ask
my thing is, I understand. My thing is with a man wants, as long as he know he can provide for his woman. But on the flip side of that, a woman, we're like this, baby. As long as I know you got it, I don't care if we live in a chicken coop, because I know you got my back. The rest is gravy. We don't care. And see, and that's what some people, now, yeah, you got those women that are very materialistic, blah, 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 blah. But when you get down to the meats of it, as long as I know you got me, you can provide for me, you got my back, regardless. If we're living in a chicken coop with a hole in the floor, and I know you got me, you're providing for me, making me feel some kind of way, I'm good. But again, how materialistic is that woman? How materialistic is that man? You know, my thing at the end of the day, my thing is all about that comfort, and you got me as a man. All I'm looking for is your you being the man that you're supposed to be, and you got me, and you got my back, and I got yours. That's all that matters.
And that goes
What's
back
confusing to me?
to what I said. Oh, go ahead, El.
Well, I was going to say what's confusing to me, and it's kind of piggybacking on what you were saying, K-Dub. Whereas you have women who can't function without, some people, they can't coexist without chaos. And that I witnessed it. I've seen it. You know, everything you would think is peachy keen and everything is rainbows and flowers, but they can't rock with it. They'll self-sabotage their relationship because of the fact that they're not used to it. They're sleeping with their fist balled up because they're not used to, well, not being materialistic, but they don't sabotage a good thing. You know, they just sabotage a good thing, and then they'll just
because
they weren't exposed used to somebody's treatment.
They weren't exposed to what a healthy relationship looks like. We have to be given tools to maintain these healthy relationships, and so many of us do not have the tools. You cannot expect somebody to come in your backyard and build a shed, and they don't have any tools. You expecting them to build you this perfect structure, but they don't have the tools. So your expectations are unrealistic from the beginning.
Hello?
And it's just not going to work. You can pretend like it's working. You can act like it's working. You can make it look like it's working from the outside looking in. But every day you go home, y'all are at each other's throats because you don't have the tools to maintain that healthy relationship with that good man or that good woman.
And see, I'll be the first one to amen on what you just said. You know, we as women, we like what we like, but at the end of the day, realistically, not being self-centered or being, it's all about me, that bigger picture, you don't have what it takes, and some women, they don't have what it takes to accept what that man is trying to give you, or vice versa. So don't think it's one way on this topic, you guys, and all the airwaves. No, we're keeping it straight 100. You're dealing with women who have been through the fire, boo. We've been through situations and scenarios, marriages with a plural, and all the other. So don't think you're dealing with some people that have not been through some situations. We have. So we're looking at the bigger picture, and I don't, not to put out there what our situation is as far as our age bracket or whatever. We're mature, good women that are looking for good men at the end of the day. And we ain't settling, because you ain't no need to settle. Hell, I'm halfway, I'm halfway where I live. So why am I gonna settle? But go ahead on, Mr. Alexander.
So I like the way things went tonight, and so I wanted to see if I could end with with some rapid questions by Miss Erica Vargas. She has the podcast. This particular episode was called In Search of a Good Man or Good Men podcast. That's the one I mentioned earlier. She's like a relationship and life coach. And I think we could have some fun in on this one. It's about building standards and some questions that she said that need to be asked rapidly. So I'm going to ask y'all real quick. And so first one, real quick, we say, if you got it's like a fill in the blank. If you had it all your way when it comes to this about a relationship, if you had all your way, blank, what would that be? If you had it all your way when it comes to a relationship, ladies.
Thank God.
Passion.
I hear God, passion.
Purpose, as far as just keeping it real. I'm straight a 100 girl, so keeping it real with me.
Book.
If I had it all my way, honesty.
I'm gonna ride with honesty too. All right.
I think real and honesty are the same thing. You know, that's why I'm like, you know.
Yeah. It can, yeah. I don't know. Real and honesty is like can be slightly different, but that's a whole nother.
Okay, that's a whole nother topic. I put my hand up to that.
All right. So 2 would be if you're in my last relationship or relationships, the characteristic that didn't work for me was blank.
Lying.
Taking my time.
I'm with my girl. Lying. I'm just
Ain't nothing worse than a lying ass Negro.
Jesus, have mercy, Father. Okay.
Worse than roaches and flies.
A nigga and fly. I do despise a nigga and a fly. Yes.
Bud.
Chaos.
I told you I knew it was going to be the takeover. So chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos. Yeah, I like that too. Chaos. Third one is what attracted me to my partner was what?
Well, I'm single, so
Your last good
I'll pass
relationship.
on that one.
With your last relationship. What attracted me to my partner?
The time she gave me.
You stick with that time.
You're lying. It's the looks. It's lying. It was the looks, Mike. Come on. You said looks the whole night.
I ain't gonna lie. I was about to say something. I was about to say the booty. I honestly was about to say the booty, but I said
This don't say the time.
no. She gave me great time. I mean, I stayed in.
Big Mike
Time
did
was
move up
shared.
there.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah, a
been
lot of the time
saying,
she
I
gave
can't
me.
ride
She
with
would-
that one, bro.
She didn't care.
if
She
you
would
looking
drive
like
out to
Wanda up
see
She
in
gave you a
this
what?
piece,
She would
keep
drive
it
out to see me.
moving.
You know, she gave me quality time.
I got you.
Wake up, cook French toast.
She gave you a Rolex.
brother. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right.
Oh, boy.
All right, Big Mike. I get you, Big Mike. He's smooth tonight. Extra smooth tonight. I should say. You always been smooth. Extra smooth tonight.
I would just say, I don't know. I think my situation is a little different because I'm married to my high school sweetheart.
Nice.
So he was my first boyfriend and he's going to be my last one.
Nice.
And so from the very beginning, he showed me what it felt like to be loved. He showed me what it felt like to feel as though I'm the most important thing and I'm the priority.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I'm taken care of and I'm good. And so I'm used to that. I'm, in my older age, I've become accustomed to that and I can't see ever not having that. Being made a priority. And I know that at the end of the day, if I say I need, it's done.
Nice.
There's no conversation. There's no negotiation.
Right.
If our household is in need, it's done. If our children are in need, it's done. There's no conversation or negotiations about that. And so to even think about going into a situation where that's not the case, I can't even imagine that. Mm-hmm. Because that's what I've been exposed to. And that's why it's so important for us to expose our younger generation to healthy love.
Right.
And because then as adults, that's the standard.
Yeah.
We're not going to settle for anything less.
So what attracted you? What attracted you to him in high school then?
The 8-ball jacket and the beeper. Like,
that's what I'm trying to get to. You pulling Big Mike on here. You got wah. You giving us all this little extra. Nah, how was? I want to know how he was in high school. Don't give me all this.
Jackets
Extra with the 8-ball jacket.
It was that high school love. Yeah, look, and I'm gonna keep it real. And I'm with Big Mike on this one. I could look at my husband all day. My husband fine, so I ain't even worried about that. And you know, so and so that's not a problem. But it was that young love, that you know, that unconditional love. We didn't have anything. We were in the 10th grade. Right. You know, nobody had no cars, money, houses, none of that. It was that pure love. I love you because I love you, because I rock with you. Right. It ain't because of what you got, and this is because nobody had shit.
Right. Except for the 8-ball jack, I ain't had one of them, so I'm hating right now. Go ahead,
look, and look, let me tell you, my man caught me the 8-ball with the Sherlin, so you know I was doing it back then.
I know that's right.
But it was that pure love. It wasn't that love that was, you know, tainted and clouded by materialistic stuff, by cars, by money, by jobs. Nobody had that. Mm-hmm. So to be exposed to that early on and to say that I'm back, yeah, we had our time apart. We spent almost more than 20 years apart, but we got back together, and it was the same as if we picked right back up in high school.
Right. Book.
Well, the question is, what attracted me to my last relationship?
The question was, what attracted me to my partner? I said to my partner. I'm married as well, so. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I guess you could say your past relationship. What attracted me to my partner?
Well, I would say that it was excitement. I compare it to, like, let's say you riding on the Autobahn. You know, I've never ridden on the Autobahn, but let's say you riding on the Autobahn and you're doing 100 miles an hour. 120, 130, 140, and somebody pulls up right neck and neck with you. You know what I'm saying? That's exciting to see somebody ride, and some young ladies right neck and neck with you with the same type of vibe, the same type of excitement, adrenaline rush. That was what excited me. So it was like, oh, I found my match.
Equally yoked.
You know, I thought that was
equally yoked.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was like dynamite exploding at all cylinders at all times. You know, it was it's super exciting.
Right.
But that's what attracted me to that right there. That was like, you know, but it was the whole thing. Okay. You know, the Lambo pulled up to my Lambo, and that's how I felt about it.
Right. Equally, yeah. For me, I guess it was. I'm gonna be smooth like Big. I'm gonna be smooth like Big Mike. You know, I would say it was obviously the looks, but it was also her energy too. So I just felt that energy. Like, yeah, that's the one right there. I can't still explain it, but you know, as far as I'm concerned, it was God sent. So that's how I look at it. But so what about think about can you think of a man that you admire?
My dad. Rest in peace. I guess my dad was a man's man. My dad was all about taking care of his family by any means necessary, making sure my mom was good, making sure me and my 3 sisters were good by any means necessary. I watched my dad ride a bike to work when the car broke down.
And that was actually the second question to that. I mean, the follow-up question that was like, that healthy relationship. What did that man do, or how did he show up in that relationship?
Yeah, my dad, you know, it was 4 girls in the house, 4 girls. And, you know, he told us from day one, you don't settle for nothing less than what I'm going to provide for you.
Nice.
Because I'm going to give you everything you need. everything you could want. And if the exact words, if the nigga can't do what I can do for you, then you don't need him.
Right.
Don't settle for nothing.
Nice.
Because you deserve everything life has to give to you, and you don't have to settle for anything.
And you know what?
Because that's it.
And to piggyback off of her, I'm an only child. So with that being said, and my dad was an alcoholic, but you know what? I'm a daddy's girl all day and every day. He was not that, emotional or violent type of person. He was a loving, fun-filled type of person, regardless of the situation. And, to go back to the question that you initially asked, what attracted me to my partner, or my current partner? Peace. Acceptance. But, there can be a little twist in that situation where there's still some unresolved in some of the other. It's so interesting. We all deal with so many different situations on a daily basis. And the crazy thing is, with all that I have dealt with, I've been married and divorced twice. I will put that out there. I don't ask for, I promise you, God be my witness, I don't ask for a whole lot. Just keep it real with me.
Yeah.
Straight. If you can keep it straight 100, if I choose to deal with the situation, it's because I choose to deal with it. But when you lie, you cheat, you steal, and you do all that other foolishness because you're trying to be that person that you're really not, that's what it caused a whole bunch of controversy and confusion. And what I'm dealing with now is it's a lot of peace. It's crazy. It's craziness, but it's peace. Okay. And that's the craziness of the whole situation. So,
and the man you
have
admire,
I lowered my standards? No. Huh?
Is the man you answered it where your dad is the man that you admire, or you think about somebody that you admire, a man that you admire? You saying it's your dad?
I'm a daddy's girl, and as the only child, that's that one man you always had in your life. He was consistent, even though he was an alcoholic and he had his issues. He was consistent. Was he a provider? Absolutely. Was he a defender? Absolutely. Certain things came unsaid. So when I think about it, it makes me emotional. So at the end of the day, I know what he'll tell me. He'd be like, "Hey," he always called me his son. That son he never had. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Like, so was I.
Yeah, my daddy, he had one. He'll tell me, "You were my son that I never had." He said, "Look at his son. If you got to put a bullet in his ass, do what you got to do."
Exactly. That's how my dad talked to me too. I was the oldest, and I was that boy he never had.
Yes. And so, with that being said, it always rings in the back of my mind because, he passed, God bless him, back in 2018. And I still think about that. He said, "Don't ever settle. I always want you to be happy. I don't care what you got to go through." He said, "I don't know how many men you got to go through. I don't care about all that." He said, "Just be happy." And, and that's what I'm about. I'm about being peace for one and happiness. If I could have peace and happiness, the rest will fall into play. That's what I'm at.
Yeah.
Well, I bet that question was mainly for the ladies, unless the fellas wanted to say something. I don't know if y'all wanted to say anything, and that was mainly for the ladies. But for that last question,
I want to say something.
Did anyone the fellas want to chime?
Big Mike looks up to Jay-Z for Beyonce.
No. Because that's his paper. That's all paper right there.
I will flip that.
I'm just fooling with you, Big Mike.
Only for
so you asked the question, what man? So you was asking the question, what man you admire?
Think about a man you admire. Yeah, I mean, I could go to a man too, because we need to have role models becoming a man.
Well, I'm not even gonna talk about the man I admire, because we had a previous show. My dad is the man I admire, but I'm gonna talk about the woman I admire. Since we got females on the show, the woman I most admire is my mama.
Nice. I might say who I
and obviously having a strong.
Okay.
Well, it's my strong black mother. And the key thing, the number one thing my mama taught me was who God is. And the number one thing my mother keeps reminding me, not only who God was, but also who he is. She keeps reminding me of that. So because
Yes.
of that, she's kept me
Amen.
grounded. She's kept me happy. Because
Absolutely.
when I strayed from him, everything
Yes.
went wrong. When I started doing what I had to do
Shout out
again,
to Mom.
things started doing right. So that's the person I most
Mhm.
admire as a female. You know, of course, and the person who, as a man, you know, everybody knows me. I'm named after my dad, so that's my number one dude right there. But my mama, she's the one.
Mhm.
She is the one. So, shout out to all the moms out there,
Yes.
single
You know, when you
mothers,
got a
married
good
mothers, strong black
mm,
mothers. Lady B,
Big
you all
Mike.
Shout
right?
out to these mamas out here. We holding it down. We holding it down for the generations.
and my thing is, and I'm gonna let it go because I know you're trying to close this segment out. My thing is, when you got a strong black woman,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
girl,
It's
when
a
I
beautiful
say
thing. That's
emotionally,
another episode. That's another episode, right? That's a beautiful thing, though. I know
It's
that's
a
a beautiful.
beautiful
She got to
thing.
That's a
go off. She
beautiful
got to
thing.
go off.
Big Mike, what you gonna say?
What's that, Key? Alexander?
No, you said you could go ahead. You said that you were talking about any woman that you admire. Is there a woman that?
My mom is a given. I'll say that for when we do our Mother's Day podcast.
There you
But
go.
Okay, we had a Mother's Day podcast.
when we
That's
do
what I'm
that one.
talking about.
But
Yeah,
y'all better invite us back.
but besides my mother, I really admire.
So when it comes around to the month of May, since me the royalty check for Mother's Day, because
okay, Mother's Day is.
Sorry, I had to slide that in there.
K-Dub in the building.
But no, a woman that I admire.
Shout out Roxy and Shantae.
Michelle Obama.
Yes, yes. Yes.
The way I remember when it was announced that President Obama won the presidency, and when he walked out and they had the camera on her, and the way she looked at him so proud.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
And I remember he was catching a lot of flack one time of I mean, you know, they gave him hell, you know, on the other side.
Yes.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
I remember
The whole 8
interviewing,
years.
she was just talking how much she was so proud of him, and and like, you know, back in the day, he didn't have nothing, and she had everything going on.
Yes.
And she
She
still,
held him down.
but she know what he was going to be. So
Yeah.
it might not be no President Barack Obama if it wasn't for her. So
Right.
yes,
he's one woman.
Watch
that
Becoming. That's all I'm gonna
admire.
say. Watch The Becoming.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was really
Big
good.
Mike,
And she's fine.
you are right with
And
me.
she's fine.
You have redeemed yourself with that. We're back. We back. We back.
But
Never was
Michelle
lost.
does
Well-
come
We
correct.
back.
That's what I love about her.
Yeah.
She does
Yeah.
come correct.
We back.
Yes.
Well, I can't top Big Mike, so I'm gonna wrap it up there. I would say, of course, obviously, I'm an only child, so I'm a mama's boy as well.
All
And
right
one-
now.
so-
All right
and one
now.
thing, and one thing my mom always taught me, my mother has always taught me was how to love, you know, and to be fair to people, treat people how you want to be treated. And so my mom was just real, you know what I'm saying? And she was my best friend, and still is my best friend.
Yes.
So
Don't make me cry.
you know, so that's my mom. You know what I'm saying?
So
That's
shout
that.
out to the moms.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michelle Obama.
And now, but that's a given. Then, of course, we know our dads is our dads, right? But like you said, as for Michelle would have been my next one too. Michelle Obama would have been mine as well. You know, just because the way she carried herself, even after the White House, just like you said, the way she loved on him and the way he loves on her. Just seeing their relationship is very empowering. So
yes.
I think we solved the question. I think we talked about it. Then we talked about what, you know,
We still got
why a woman don't want a good man. We also found out why a good man don't want a good woman, right? I think we found that out too. So
It sounds
why
like
a man don't want a good woman.
episode. We sound like we're gonna do another show.
It sounds like a part 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Yes.
But I enjoy, I enjoy the ladies. I enjoy having the ladies. It's a good twist for us. So I appreciate y'all. You know, we got K-Dub in the building.
I thank you for inviting me. It's really good to chop it up with some positive brothers. You know, I've been knowing Alexander and L Boogie for some time now, my time down south. So, you know, I'm glad to see y'all still doing your thing, Big Mike. You know,
it's the
it's good.
757 connection. So
that's right. That's right. So
we got to have you back, though. You got to come back and bless us with your presence again.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank y'all for having me.
And of course, we got Lady B. We appreciate you coming in, chopping it up with us.
You know what?
Energy.
I thank you. I thank you. I thank you so much, Mr. Alexander, and all my other podcasters here. Please invite us back. Please invite me back. I hope I, served you well. And
Definitely.
give you my real and my, true meaning.
Podcast coming soon. Coming soon.
Absolutely, you guys.
That's right. Shout out to Lady B.
So please chime in. It's coming soon. Just give me a few more minutes now. We got to get it all together.
Exactly. So I enjoyed it, fellas, so I guess we'll wrap it up here, So I'm Alexander.
I'm Big Mike.
I'm El Boogie.
Look out for us on YouTube, all the podcasts and sites you get them from. Look for our podcast. You have now been part of Guilty by Associations.